Now, as Nigeria is busy looking for international investment, it should look closely at what the Skipper Seil Group is doing in this country. The flagship India-Dubai company has been in Nigeria now for 26 years. In that time, they've built 4 eye hospitals, a research institute for renewable energy, as well as a service and remanufacturing company for large transformers, generators and turbines. They've also constructed power plants and substations, and they recently completed the Dangote refinery power plant in Lagos, which is a 450 megawatt combined cycle gas power plant. There are also 2 hydropower plants in Kano State and a gas power plant in Kaduna. When President Tinubu went to India recently, he announced a $1 billion joint defense project with the Indian government. Skipper Defense is part of that deal and is building naval ships and combat helicopters for the Nigerian military. The company has created employment for more than 10,000 Nigerians over a period of 2 decades. And this year alone, they've created, through their training programs, more than 1,000 employable youths. So what is it that has made Skipper Seil so confident in the Nigerian market, where many other international companies have feared to tread? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Jatinder Sachdeva, who is the group president for the parent company Skipper Seil. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
My pleasure, Charles.
And thank you for having confidence in Nigeria. But you're going to tell us why in a minute. But first of all, tell us how you came to be in Nigeria and what convinced you to invest in this country.
That's a funny start. I came in 2000 with a Manufacturer Association delegation, and we went around Kenya, Ghana and Nigeria. And fortunately, in Nigeria, when we saw the population, when we saw the economy, I found a lot of trust into it. And I was told that, and we found that millions of equipments were lying scattered all around and there was no service. So we decided to come as a service provider into the power sector.
Right.
And that was the time when we started with a small company called GTA Engineering, which was the repairing or remanufacturing for transformers and generators, large generators. That was the time. And slowly when we built up and we started getting almost all the industrial giants into that, we found a lot of opportunities that even for a small transformer, people have to go to various countries and go and buy. And we decided, no, we'll have our own transformer plants. And we came with transformer plant. And thereafter, when off late the area for solar started, we saw even for a small inverter, you have to go to outside the country and people importing traders. We have never been traders. So we started battery energy storage system. In the meantime, the evolution continued and the power plant construction, including investment into power plants. So a mammoth organization was built. That was the time. But initially, it started with a service organization.
So that was GTA Engineering.
That is true.
And the longer you stayed, the more confident you became. Because I know you've branched beyond sort of, doing things with generators and transformers and all the rest of it into hospitals.
Yes. That was funny. In 2014, I had a small issue in my eye. It flared up. I had to fly back. Then I decided that
back to Dubai, back to India.
Back to India,
right? Because
we have a chain of eye hospitals, we have a chain of general hospitals. Then I decided why not to bring them also to Nigeria. And we did a lot of studies and we found there was a challenge of paying capacity and all. So we started with a CSR model initially, and finally we came with the first hospital in 2016 at Victoria Island, Lagos.
Right.
Slowly when we built up, it was exponential. People stopped going to, we saw most of the Nigerians, Ghanaians, Togolese and neighborhood personnel, they started coming to Nigeria for our hospital.
Well, that's actually very interesting. So in a way, you've reduced medical tourism out of Nigeria. and you're managing to attract people into this country rather than people going off. But I mean, obviously, it costs a bit of money. I mean, to come to your sort of eye companies. How have you managed to keep your costs low enough and attractive enough for such people?
It was very special way of doing it. When you bring foreign specialists, when you bring chairman of the retina or glaucoma or cornea transplant, they cost a lot. You can't bring a specialist for less than $15,000. We decided a special way of batching up the doctors from our own hospitals. So we requested them to come here at a concessional price, because we have almost 79 eye surgeons working in our Indian hospitals. So they started coming in batches, and we could reduce the cost of our operations, and finally we maintained the lowest possible cost, and people are happy. If you will see our cataract surgery, which costs hardly $600 or $600 to $700. The same thing, if you go to London, you have to do for £10,000. So substantial reduction of cost and a lot of medical tourism inside Nigeria.
But are you making a profit?
We are okay. We are not doing very great profits, but we are expanding. Our internal money is being invested into the same business, and we are very comfortable that we can have a lot of profits in the days to come.
Right.
After we cross 6 numbers and we cross certain turnover, we'll have profits. We have seen that.
Right. And just returning to what you do very well indeed, which is the power plants and so on. I mean, you're also into renewable energy, and in fact, you opened a new renewable energy training system, didn't you? Just today.
Yeah, it was. In Kaduna, we have a school called CAD Syria. We used to have one in Lagos called Lagos Lag Syria. Syria is Skipper Electrical Electronics Renewable Energy Academy. So we train the youth. We initially started with train the trainer program, and thereafter we grew it up to a full scale training. So our main aim is creating employable youth, doing something back for the society, and that is purely under our CSR program. We have been doing it since...
corporate social responsibility.
Exactly, right. Corporate social responsibility. Sorry for using the abbreviation.
That's okay.
Since 2008, we have been doing from Lagos. In Kaduna, we came in 2019. And since then, there was COVID, so we had to stop for some time, but now we are doing very well. Every batch is about 50-55 students. And we are trying to do at least 200 students a year in Kaduna alone, or even more than that. Now our Abuja Advanced Training Institute is about to start, where we will have even the Research Institute for the Renewable Energy. That one is going to do a big contribution to the society by not only training the unemployed youth, but also give training to those who want to go into the advanced courses, because renewable energy is the name of the game for the world as of today.
That's the new direction that everybody is going in. But of course, you're still obviously in the traditional way of supplying energy, and you've just recently completed the Dangote refinery power plant. I mean, that's quite a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah. Dangote refinery power plant was a huge one.
Yeah.
And we didn't have experience. When I went to Alaji, Aliko, I said, I have never built a power plant. Will you trust me to give? He said, bring a good partner. We trust you. We have been using your transformers for decades. It will be great to have you with us. I brought a partner. We had trust that we can do it, and we did it. It was, I think, fast. In spite of the COVID, we did it well on time, and today the whole refinery, the whole power infrastructure, 85% of the skipper transformers across Dangote refinery and fertilizer, they're fully operational, working satisfactorily, and we are very proud to be associated with Dangote Group. Not only that, I think every big group, Transcorp, your
Transcorp Hilton.
Transcorp,
right, that's the Hilton
Transcorp
Hotel
Farm, Transcorp Ugeli, Geregu, your NDPSC, TCN, even Volta River in Ghana, CEB in Togo, every neighborhood power plant, every neighborhood transmission company is supporting us. We are supporting them.
I mean, I have to say, is there anything that you're not getting into? Because, I mean, I know that when President, in fact, I was here when your Prime Minister came, Narendra Modi. I mean, there was a huge, people were sort of, a lot of Indians were chanting his name. He's very popular, isn't he? But, I mean, when President Tinubu went to India, he announced $1 billion government defense project with the Indian government. And that is essentially to sort of defense cooperation. And you're into that as well. I mean, you've got a slice of that pie, haven't you?
It started far before that.
Right.
When Indian government wanted to partner with the Nigerian government for the defense space, in not only just in the surface, but air platforms, surface platform, underwater, water platforms. So we became a sort of bridge between the Nigerian government and Indian government. And that is the time when we brought a lot of line of credits. Not only that, we have even been working now with DICON to build the transfer of technology, which is the dream of President Tinubu, that Nigeria should be self-sufficient into the defense space, and we should be net zero or net positive in the defense production. We should not be importing.
Yeah, but you're building naval ships, combat helicopters for the Nigerians. Are you building that in Nigeria or away from Nigeria?
The present deal is the importation, but at the same time we are almost set to start assembling of the naval ships as well as boats. Along with that, the combat choppers and other kind of choppers, helicopters, in Nigeria very soon with the help of the Nigerian Defense. And I have met the Minister of Defense, I have met the Minister of State Defense. They have supported it very well, and the things are taking shape very soon and very fast.
And this is particularly significant because your company, Skipper Seil, is marking its 39th year in business globally, but you're marking your 26th year in Nigeria.
That is true. We are 39 years old. When we started, it was 1986 as a manufacturer for the tiny transformers.
Right.
And on the 23rd of May, we will enter in our 39th year completion and enter into the Ruby anniversary of 40th year. And that is the time we have massive investments coming up in the field of health, in the field of power, in the field of defense, majority into power. And we are looking at a few African countries because our board has done the approval for the funding, and this is the time when we want to celebrate and put our relationships at the best of it. Especially Nigeria looks to be the most lucrative right now with the kind of regulatory changes done by the present government. I'm very proud of the current Minister of Power and Minister of Finance, especially the Power, the way he has brought a total change into the mindset of the people. In 2 years, he didn't do anything different. He did it differently.
Right. But, you know, people just want to switch on the light and it comes on. And so far, it hasn't come on yet.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
because
we hope it does.
2007, after the NIPP, we didn't see, that was the time we started investing also in Nigeria.
Okay, yeah, you were here during the Obasanjo, of course,
yes, we started investing. We also were part of
the
NIPP.
National Integrated Power Project.
But we didn't see that kind of investment again after that.
Right.
Now when I saw this regime is entirely doing a different way.
Right.
What they're doing, first they went 2 years shopping for money. World Bank, AFDB, IDB, every institution, you'll be surprised today, the government has in hand at least $60 billion from Mission 300, Desert to Power, IGR and various other funding options. Not only that, they have brought this Nigeria integrated electricity policy, along with that a budgeting of $120 billion to be spent in the next 10 years.
Well, we'll have to see whether it happens, won't
sir,
we?
What
Yeah.
one NIPP got for 5 years, $10 billion, now we are going to see every year $12 billion. If that is the investment, we can hope for 50,000 megawatt in the next 10 years or 8 years.
Well, as we said, we'll see it when it happens.
It's going to. My heart says, and that is the
because
reason.
the same things were said during the NIPP period up to 2007, and then it never happened.
I really
So you can understand why Nigerians are a little bit skeptical. But let's move away from that, because it hasn't all been smooth sailing through this country for you, has it? I mean, at some point, even your parent company were a little bit skeptical about continuing to invest in Nigeria. But you, through your, the power of your sort of, your trust and your belief, kept them here, and now they're happier that they stayed. But I mean, you're owed a lot of money in Nigeria, aren't you? I mean, some of which have ended up in disputes in court.
Well, these are very internal information. How do you get all that? But it's true.
Well, we're journalists, we do our research.
In our recent board meeting of the trust, in our trust meeting, you'll be surprised, out of 9 members, 6 have been opposing the investment in Nigeria, and I'm the one who is standing to invest. Last year, we had to reject our healthcare investment, which we wanted to bring a 1,000-bedded hospital in Lagos.
Yes.
And we had to pause it for some time, and I'm sure it's going to get a clearance this year, because this is our Ruby anniversary year. So all these things, but I'm still waiting for the board approval.
Yes.
And the things will shape up. I'm sure Nigeria has tremendous opportunity, especially the people are excellent.
Well, you have great confidence in this country, and seeing you and the enthusiasm and the way your eyes light up when you talk about it, it inspires me. But what I want to ask you, because we're getting to the end of the conversation, I mean, if you were taking into account the hesitation from your board sometimes to invest in this country, they're a bit worried about what happens, the monies you're owed that haven't been paid, and then it runs into billions and billions of naira. I mean, if you were to advise the Nigerian government trying to attract foreign direct investment into this country, how would you advise the government to approach those firms internationally? What should they say to them to encourage them to come here, given all the things that you're experiencing?
Today, see, there is certainly there's over 50 billion naira few states are owing to Skipper.
Right, that's your company.
Yeah, and I'm sure we will get it, because at the end of the day, truth prevails. And maybe sometimes there's a disconnect, sometimes there's a challenge, sometimes it's a approval, their internal approval processes. I'm very sure when I meet you next time in few months, we would have settled with them. As far as the advice to my fellow investors is concerned, now the time for the power sector is entirely different. Especially when you see in transmission sector, it has been privatized. The TCN has been unbundled as a system operator, independent system operator and transmission service provider. There is an open line, you go and build your transmission lines and you get paid. And we have seen the kind of returns, the ROC, the return on capital, it looks very lucrative. I will say this is the right time, not only for, mainly for power sector of course, this is the right time to invest, because there is a tremendous demand, but there is too much of scarcity of the investors. And same thing is for defense, same thing is for the pharmaceutical industry and for the tertiary healthcare industry.
Right, okay. Well, that's jolly good advice, and I hope somebody out there is listening. But I want to thank you very much indeed, and congratulations, your 39th year internationally. Your company is in India, you're in Dubai, you're in Nigeria, you're in other parts.
Ghana and Kenya.
Yeah, in other parts of Africa. So you're doing a good job, and thank you for your confidence in this country. Jatinder Sachdeva is the group president for the parent company Skipper Seil. Good to see you.
Thank you so
And thank
much.
you very much
Thank you,
indeed.
Charles. And it was
That's
good
it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye and thank you for watching.